There's a cast. Fluorescent light bulb. Hello, everybody. So today we're going to clean out an entire room, an entire space in a single video. But before we do that, I have a wonderful, wonderful update. I can't tell you how awesome it is. So last time I came back from Poland, the day after I landed, we had a huge rainstorm. And do you remember when I posted a video where I fixed that valley? I as soon as I fixed it, I left. And there was I hadn't been here after a rain, so I wasn't able to test and see how it worked out, if it was a successful repair or not. It rained the day after I got back, and water was just pouring in. And I didn't even mention it on here because I was kind of in denial, and it was really stressing me out. And so I saw that another storm was moving in, and I'm like, I got to get up there, and I got to do something about that, because that is not sustainable, that level of leaking. And so I took my tar bucket up there, and I looked for every little crack, every little screw head that was loose, anything, and I just kind of hit it all. And so I went up there, and I went to two different places. And I patched and just, put on the roofing cement and went all around. And the storm hit yesterday, and it was an incredible storm. It was the type where you're sitting in your car and you can't see the end of the hood of your car. So it was coming down. And I just got here with my fingers crossed, and this place is bone dry. It is bone dry. And I'm just so elated. My blood is kind of running cold. It's like, gives me chills because it's been so stressful. And so it may not be a long-term fix, but the roof is, I think for the first time, the roof is not leaking, which is incredible. So this is one of the places where when it rains, I would find puddles occasionally. And then when it rains real hard, I'd find a gigantic puddle. But I don't know if you see that on camera, but when I kick it, a little cloud of dust comes up, which means it's so dry. And this space here, you can see a little moisture on the floor. So this is right at the bottom, the lowest area of that valley. And if you remember, it kind of levels out right before the fall off on the roof. And it pools there a little bit, and that's where it was leaking and dripping through here. And this moisture right here is not from the rain yesterday. That is from the rain like a week ago when it was really coming through. But it's dry. And it's a little dark here. This is a third problem area, completely dry. So I don't know if you can consider roofing cement a permanent fix. But darn it, I'll take it. I will take it. So super excited about that. And okay, so back to our regularly scheduled programming. Okay, so on that positive note, let's ride the momentum. So let's go and take a look at what we're going to be doing today. Okay, so here are the front doors to the front entrance of the building. And I've talked about this before. If you watched a little while ago, I did a couple videos where I removed all the old paneling off the walls. We got the drop ceiling out of here. We got this entire space back to the bare bones. So in there, we removed that wall by those stairs. And like I said, I've mentioned it before, but I feel really great when I walk through this space, because this is the first space in the building that is kind of blank canvas stage, with the exception of that last piece of paneling there. I've got some wiring, internet cable for the cameras and that kind of thing going on there, but I'll remove that, and this is at a blank canvas stage. I can bring a ladder in, I can do some detail work, I can prep the walls, I can roll a scaffolding around in here, and yeah, something can actually be done in this space. So every time I walk through there, it gives me a little emotional bump there. Also, recently, I've been posting a few videos about getting a lot of these windows repaired. And this room here just got, I think, one or actually 3 windows with tiny holes in them. And the first step is to get those switched out. And then in the long term, any window that has a crack, get it pulled out and replaced. But yeah, it's coming together. It's coming together real well. And this is the room I want to focus on today. So it's a giant open space. It's got these giant windows in it. And it's a really beautiful space. So it's not going to require a lot. You just have to get all this stuff out of here, get it swept out, and it'll be a major step forward. So that's the thing. I think probably I've had 100 comments on the channel that say, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? So that's what I'm doing. I'm picking my battles, room by room, space by space, and getting it back to that blank canvas stage. So today, all of this is going to be taken care of. It's going to be swept out. And yeah, so I'm going to get this cardboard, this wood, this stuff all out of here. And this room will be my sacrificial space that I can bring things into. So I actually need a space where I can just store stuff, because this process is kind of like being a hamster or a gerbil or a guinea pig, where you're like just kind of moving stuff around. I need to work over here, so I'm going to move that there, then move it again. And I know I'm supposed to only move things once, but it's not very realistic. So, yeah, all right. This has got to go. Okay, so I think I'd like to also sweep this out. Okay, gonna let that dust settle just a little bit, but it's ready. I can start moving stuff in. It's got a really cool ceiling up there, so someday I'll remove this and we'll get a better look at it. Just as a side note, that room actually has a window there, so you can see what's going on. And for this room, I guess it's just a matter of divide and conquer. Not a particularly challenging task today, just a bunch of busy work. Picking stuff up and relocating it. So there's a cast fluorescent light bulb. And if it saves time, don't ever put fluorescent bulbs up against the wall. Okay, so this is like still in the crate. It's like a 1960s, 1970s Kohler cast iron bathtub. And it's an avocado green. And I know for a fact, because I put it here, the thing is hundreds and hundreds of pounds. So I'm gonna have to go get a furniture roller. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but it doesn't have to go home, it just can't stay here. Oh. Okay, I got these Durastall shower cabinets that are still in the box. And it's kind of hit and miss with those things because sometimes if they're plastic, they've just kind of aged out or, you know, yellow or whatever, but looks like the boxes are still pretty good shape. Oh, wow. That is a 3-door or a 3-panel rounded shower cover. Okay, so let's take a peek at what we got here. Yeah, it's just like the shower wall lining and then like a little threshold here. And looks to be complete. And then here is a single panel shower door with some frosted stripes on it. So gold trim. Looks like it's this one here, not this one. So, okay. And then another copy of that guy. So the good thing is they're all still in the box, so I'll take them in there, lean them against the wall, and they won't take up too much space. Done. Okay, so now that I got that out of the way, check out this cool old fire door. I've showed these before and how amazing these pieces of hardware are on them. It's tin clad, and if I step back here, you'll see how it's on a roller that is actually downhill. So the door's really heavy, and I guess what would happen, as you can see right now, it's tied off. The rope would go up here to this pulley, and then there would be a counterweight hanging here. And if there was a fire in the room, the idea was that the rope would burn, and it would release. Once it burned in half, it would release this way, and the gravity would pull the door down and seal off that door right there, not allowing the fire to spread. So. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then over here we have another one that's like twice as big. So that thing is gigantic. It requires 3 of those pieces there. And I think there's even one if I come in here. Yeah, there's another one here. So, and that's got a thick industrial door, which I want to get pulled out because it's so awesome. Look at that. Look how big that sheet of glass in that window is. So yeah, there's 3, and then we got that steel overhead door there. So pretty cool. It's really easy for me to get distracted around here. So, okay. Okay, so now that we got a bunch of the bulky cardboard and stuff out of here, I thought I would just take a quick minute and explore the room and see what some of this stuff is. Let's see here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. I think there's actually some more in here somewhere. These are porcelain pedestals that go under a sink, probably something like one of these old vintage sinks here. These actually sit on top of a cabinet. They're they're made to fit with a certain model, I think, because of where the bolt holes are connected. So I don't know if you can use those interchangeably or not, but if you're an innovative person, you could figure out a way to make those work. It's just an old countertop with a stainless steel sink. Yeah. So here we got a whole bunch of boxes of tile. And it looks like I've got a couple different colors, mostly gray. There's some like light beige. And somebody laid out a whole bunch of, sorted through it and pulled out like, I don't know what color that is. It's almost like a skin tone. Maybe you could call it pink, I'm not sure. But it looks like it matches this old vintage sink color, so yeah, well, it's cool they match. And then we got a whole bunch of colored vintage sinks, probably from late 60s, early 70s, something like that. This one's called Pale Jade. They're brand new, they're new old stock. Some of them are actually still in the boxes. You can see there. So we've got, and if you've been watching the channel for any time at all, you know that I've got stashes of like a whole bunch of these. So most of them are porcelain. So there's like that's called Pale Jade, I think. And this is, I can't remember. Let me see if they say what they are. No, it doesn't say the color, but it's made by Crane. And there are definitely some theme colors that were popular at the time, because I have just multiples of each color. I got lots of blue, lots of pale jade, and then this yellow. There is a complete brown toilet there, which is pretty cool. Yeah, we've got a soft gray mini toilet tank there, and another pedestal, old vintage trash can lid, and these are heaters that would go in your wall. There's actually some good copper and aluminum fins on the inside. But I don't know if I should scrap those or what, because they're for boilers. And I don't think anybody really uses those anymore. But I'm not gonna scrap them. I'm gonna set them aside till I know what the best thing to do with them is. And then just a couple more things. Here's a piece of, I think it's stovepipe. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4 walled. So that's pretty cool. A gigantic faux butcher block countertop. That is really deep. I mean, that's like deeper than my leg. So that's better as a tabletop, probably. I think this came out of a Hardee's restaurant. I've got some trash cans upstairs that were from a Hardee's restaurant, and I think these probably came from the same place. And then finally, got this giant set of drawers here, which I may keep because it'd be great for putting a skill saw, some of the bigger power tools in. So I'll probably move that down to where I'm, just a matter of busy work, carrying stuff. There's a couple of these guys. These are actually steel. The rest are porcelain. I just saw something cool on this sink that I thought might be worth mentioning. So this is the front of the sink. It's a porcelain one. And then just over the front lip, there are these recessed cavities, which are actually drains, but you can tuck your bar of soap in there and it's not visible. Isn't that cool? This sink is cast iron with porcelain enamel. So it's a little bit different. I think I'll take one of those boxes at a time. Oh yeah, did I mention the roof's not leaking? So here's a couple things I should definitely put on Facebook because winter's coming up. And actually when we had our little sale here, we sold a whole bunch of these. And they're electric baseboard heaters. So you just put them, you know, along the wall and make sure they got power and they heat up your room. So this was a really long one. Still wrapped in plastic, new old stock, so cool. Okay, so that entire mess out there basically boiled down to just this. So, yeah, cool. Did find a couple of other interesting things. Here's some new old stock oil filters. I guess that's a model number. That is an old car on there, probably from the 70s, right? And then the last thing I found was this long tube of something. I'm thinking that maybe, let me take this over in the light. That looks like, is that a stick for a stick welder? It's coated in some kind of powder, so, but it's like, look how long that is. If that is a stick for a stick welder, it's super long. And just like so many other things, I don't have any idea about welding, so that's on my list of things to learn. So, yeah. Anyway, now comes the most satisfying part of the whole thing. All right. That's a broken window. I love this part because it makes such a big difference. So, all right, I'm gonna have to put you guys down for a minute and get busy. Okay, so as I walk into this room, I feel like there should be heavenly choir singing, like, oh. Yeah, so I'm gonna put my mask back on because there's still dust hanging in the air, so. But yeah, check this room out. Gigantic windows, 14-foot high ceilings, And yeah, it looks pretty awesome. So there's a window behind that piece of plywood there. The only thing I'm not sure about in here is the walls. Like, look how amazing they look. But I think if I just swept that floor, I think if I you know, scrape those off, there'd be like basically nothing left. That entire color would be gone. So yeah, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do about that. But no rush, because I've got lots of other projects that are gonna be happening before I can get to that. So yeah, would this be awesome as like a little vintage clothing store space, or like a record shop, or even like a community arts center or something? So, all right. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Did I mention that the roof's not leaking?